excited.
Yes, about what?
Well, about music.
No, all right, thank
Yeah.
you.
But, and the thing is, like, I know that I can get into this state of being where it's like I'm just fully there in the immediate experience of the moment.
Do you mean fully here?
Fully here, in the immediate experience of the moment.
Fully there. Here.
Fully here,
Thank you.
in the immediate experience of the moment.
Yes. All right, congratulations.
And in this state,
yes.
in the process of my creating music, for example, if it's learning a new skill,
Yes.
and it's like learning like how to make electronic music, for example, using a computer.
Yes.
As I'm in this particular state of consciousness,
Yes.
every aspect of this, of the process that I'm exploring, I'm really just, it's sinking into me deeply,
Yes.
and I'm really experiencing it fully.
Yes.
And
Well, that's the channeling state.
indeed,
You understand that. You all do have the ability to channel. That's the channeling state.
and I find that I don't want to take action in the direction of my excitement of making this music unless I'm fully in this state of being.
Well, all right, then why not simply choose to be fully in the state of being so you will always be able to take action?
I like that. I'm wondering...
All right, well, I'm happy you like it. So if you like it, why not do it? Not that you have to. Just asking.
Because I noticed that I'm not there, and I think that...
Yes, I know you're not there. You said you were here.
Well, I will do that.
It's
and
up to
I'm
you.
doing it right now.
Yes.
And I am looking forward to exploring
All
that
right.
more.
Please, all of you, don't assume that just because the sensation of the state changes, that means you're not still in the same general state of excitement. Excitement doesn't mean you have to be jumping up and down. Excitement can be a sense of meditative, balanced peace as well. Excitement can be expressed in a number of ways. When we use your word excitement, we simply mean the body's physical translation of the vibration that's in alignment with your true core being. It can be expressed in any number of ways. So don't misunderstand and think that just because the energy level changes or the energy expression changes, that's not necessarily an expression of your excitement.
Okay.
Yes? Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Anything else?
Yes. So it feels like my highest excitement then is to allow myself to be in that state.
All right. And then you can act from that state on whatever opportunity presents itself to you at any given moment that contains the highest amount of excitement by reflection. Because when you say the highest excitement, there can be many expressions of your highest excitement that arrive in your life, and often there have to be. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any motion, you wouldn't have any movement, you wouldn't have a path to take if you didn't have multiple expressions of your highest excitement. It doesn't have to just be one thing. Coming here tonight, I'm assuming, was an act of excitement for you.
Yes.
Well, there you see, didn't really have anything to do with your music.
True.
But you acted on it because it was the most exciting thing, I'll assume, that you were able to act on at that particular moment. Yes?
Yes.
Well, then there you go. It's simple as that. Whatever presents itself to you as an option, out of all the options you have available to you at any given moment, just act on the one that you can act on best, that contains the highest excitement out of all the options. And act on it with absolutely no assumption, insistence, or expectation as to what the outcome ought to be. That's the whole formula. That's all you have to keep doing. That's it. Simple enough?
Yes, it is.
All right. Unless, of course, you would like to complicate it and make it more difficult, which I won't prevent you from doing. Because I know that many of you love to complicate things. But you don't have to.
In addition, I have a question. I'm wondering
Yeah.
if there's anything that through you can be reflected to me from my higher mind about...
What do you think I'm doing right now?
Well, exactly that.
Well, then I am reflecting to you from your higher mind, and anything that you need to know, I'll tell you. Anything I don't tell you, you don't need to know.
Is there any way to induce lucid dreaming without technology? I'm sure there is a way. I wonder
Of
if
course,
you can
there
give
are
an
many ways.
example.
You have many books and many people that have done it. You could go talk to them. You could go read one of those books. You could use your imagination. You can do many number of kinds of things to induce lucid dreaming. We've already given you a few ideas. go and find some more ideas on your own.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay.
Unless it doesn't excite you.
It does excite me.
Well, then go.
All right.
Go forth lucidly to find out information on how to lucid dream. Yes?
Yes.
And when you start doing that, before you know it, while you're looking for that information, you'll suddenly realize that you are lucidly dreaming.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Does that help you?
It does. I have one final question.
Yes.
I'm
well,
just
I
wondering.
doubt that, but
Well-
go ahead.
I can't argue with that. I'm wondering if you could just give me any kind of cool thing about the Santa Barbara area. Just like something I can go adventuring for, exploring, or if there's nothing else. Just
You could go adventuring and exploring in the Santa Barbara area. Is that not cool enough?
it sounds good to me.
One moment. One moment. A nearby area is called Goleta.
Yes.
Go there. Or not.
Okay. Thank you.
Pleasant dreams to you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Are you enjoying the planet?
Always.
What are your preferences when you visit?
What I'm doing right now. What I do at any given moment. Reflecting energy, balancing energy, interacting, conversing, dreaming lucidly with all of you. Taking trips, exploring other realities, exploring other civilizations, interacting with other civilizations, telling them about all of you. Telling you about some of them, doing art, all of these things excite me. I only do what excites me.
Do you go swimming when you're here?
I am not physically on the surface of your planet.
But do you experience it in another way?
Yes.
That's nice.
I'll agree.
Have you experienced anything that is not to your liking?
No. There are things that are not in my preference, but that has nothing to do with whether I like it or not, because all things are equal. I can recognize what I don't prefer without placing any kind of a value judgment on what I don't prefer,
That's amazing.
if you say so.
I do say so.
Thank you.
Authoritatively.
Well said.
Very good. Then it's nice to meet you.
And you as well.
Bye.
Anything else? No?
No, that's
All right.
all.
Thank you.
Hi.
And are you good day?
I'm nervous. Okay.
You are excited. Yes?
I guess
You guess? All right, then you are nervous.
the subject matter. I'm not excited about the subject matter. I just have a few questions. One about a general understanding of the afterlife. What does that look like? What is that if we leave this physical world?
Well, there are certain things that generally most of you will experience. First of all, recognize that you are going beyond the normal parameters of linear space-time. There may still be the ability to create a kind of a sense of time playing out there, but it's nothing like the kind of time experience you have in physical reality. In physical reality, when you think a thing, when you believe a thing, you have a time lag of manifestation, of experiencing that thing to some degree. In non-physical reality, in the spirit world, you don't. Whatever you think is instantaneously manifested around you.
Okay.
The idea, however, is that the process is, for most of your people, the idea that you will suddenly float out of your body. You may recognize that your body is lying down there. You may see people gathered around. You may choose to listen into a few things. You may choose to go to your own funeral. You may choose to visit some people. You may choose to attempt to communicate with them. Sometimes they will perceive it, sometimes they will not. You may experience what is called the tunnel of light, which is actually just a way of expressing in your reality the idea of a link and a bridge between one dimension and another. And as you open up into the other dimension of spiritual reality, non-physical reality, most of you may experience being greeted by the non-physical spirit counterparts of people that you have known in life, or the idea of what you call people from other lives. You may thus then experience the sensation of unconditional support and love, expansiveness. It will be like waking up from a dream, in the way that you wake up from a dream now and go, oh, well, no matter how real that dream seemed, this is actually who I am, and that was just a dream. So death will be similar to that as well. This is who I really am, and physical life was just a dream. You will have what is generally called a life review. You will experience every single choice you made, every consequence of every choice you made, and you will actually feel it and everything that anyone else felt as a consequence of the choices you made, as if it's all happening to you, because it is all happening to you. This will happen really in the blink of an eye, even though it may seem to be somewhat stretched out, because it's an entire lifespan in the blink of a moment, but you can focus on any part of it that you wish, and you can make it seem to last however long you wish it to last. And the idea is that you will use this as a learning experience to balance yourself in recognizing the choices that you made and whether or not you really would have preferred to make a different choice or not. And you will add that perspective to your overall knowledge as a soul. You will thus usually be greeted by some guide or representation of the idea of all that is, and you will experience this great envelopment of love, and you will be given more choices. Do you wish to go back to that life in a parallel reality and continue as if you hadn't died? Do you wish to have the experience you call reincarnation? Do you wish to move on to other dimensions, other civilizations, other realities? What do you wish to explore now? You can generally assume that most of these things will be experienced by the general majority of you, even though there can be many, many different kinds of things.
Okay, so with that, if they, or whatever the choice is,
Yes.
will they still be connected to the ones here left?
It depends. You're always connected to everything, but depending on the choice you make, you may not experience necessarily the same kind of connection. It depends.
What does that mean?
Well, in other words, if the choice you're making means that you can't experience that choice without having an experience of not remembering anyone else, then you will not remember anyone else, even though you're always connected. If the other choice you're making doesn't matter whether you maintain a conscious awareness of a connection to other people, you'll maintain the conscious connection. It depends on what it is you're attempting to experience as to what you will be capable of doing, in a sense.
So if someone leaves this physical
Yes.
life currently and I'm
Yes.
still in the physical world now, and they
Yes.
have the choice to possibly not be connected.
Well, no, they're always
Oh,
connected.
okay.
But the idea is that they may be choosing something that makes their experience not need to necessarily consciously connect with you, but they're always connected. And more often than not, when someone awakens into spirit and experiences the idea of their true unconditional self, they will, more or less, always be around for you in some way, shape, or form. Now, they do have lives. They are still busy. They're not just hovering around, what does she want now?
Can I call upon?
Of course you always can. Okay. And generally speaking, often when you go about your day and suddenly for no apparent reason they may cross your mind, that may actually be them communicating with you. They may be connecting with you in that way. But they will always hear you.
Yeah.
They will always hear you, because it's easier for them to hear you than it is for you to hear them in the way you have structured your belief system. Doesn't mean that it can't be as easy for you to hear them, but just because of your belief system, you usually prevent yourself from experiencing them in the way that they can experience you now that the blinders are off. Yeah. Because time, again, for them is not what it is for you. And generally also, they are seeing more clearly the scope of what it is as a higher mind, as a soul, you chose for yourself. So sometimes when it may seem like they're not connecting to you, they may, in a sense, have a little bit of a hands-off policy, because your own higher mind is saying, hands off. Don't intervene right now. I'm going through a process. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
So they actually know, in some senses, better than your physical mind, when to connect and when to sort of leave you by your own devices. But they're always there. And many times, even what you may think is your own thought, or some synchronous thing that just occurs on your planet may actually have been the result of guidance from them, even though you may not have actually heard it at the time. They may have just needed to whisper one little thing in your mind to get you to think, oh, you know, today I'll just take this path. I don't know why. I just feel like it. And then suddenly you run into someone you haven't seen in 10 years that gives you exactly what you need at that moment. You go, what an amazing synchronicity. But that may have come from guidance from the spirit world, but it will be unobtrusive because their first job is to make sure you are your own best guide and to remain in the background. They can't live your life for you.
Wow.
Make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Is this helping illuminate this idea a little
Actually,
bit?
yeah.
Anything else?
Can I ask one more?
I don't know. You just asked a question there.
Okay, I'm gonna. Sorry.
So you don't have to ask if you can ask.
So speaking of dreams, if
Yes.
there is that connection that feels different than just a dream, just
Yes.
something
It
I've thought
usually
about.
is representative of an actual communication, of a real connection,
Yeah.
of a real conversation. And most of you can tell the difference.
Definitely.
It does have a sense of lucidity, a sense of solidity to it.
Yes.
It also has a sense of consistency to it. Whereas most of what you typically call a dream, in a sense, from your perspective, is sort of nonsensical.
Right.
You can be here, you can be there. Things can happen that you go, yeah, that makes sense that he has 12 eyes. Sure, I accept it. Nothing strange there. You understand?
I do.
And in fact, to go back to another question, one of the ways you can actually trick yourself into becoming lucid in the dream is to actually train yourself to start recognizing when things are not the way they are in physical reality instead of just accepting that that's normal.
One last question. I'm sorry.
Oh, see? Yes.
I know. Do we choose to leave this physical
Yes.
world?
Always. Now, it can be done with precision or it can be done with a general window. But generally you choose to explore certain themes, and when the exploration of those themes is up, well, unless you change your mind and say, well, there are some other things I really would like to explore, you usually just leave in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
Because you are done with that exploration. You're done with that perspective. It's really analogous to the idea of saying, you know what, I'm going to go coral reef diving for a while. Here I am on the boat, above the water, and I'm going to put on the mask, I'm going to put on the wetsuit, going to put on the fins, going to put on the tanks, and I'm going to dive into the water. And I'm wearing this mask, the ego structure, so that I can see clearly under the water to have the experience I really want to have. But after I go around through the coral reefs and I've looked at all the pretty fish, and I finally get to the point where you go, well, you know what? That was the experience of the day. That's what I wanted to do. I have done it, and now I'm done with this experience. You go back up to the boat, you take off the mask, take off the wetsuit, take off the fins, take off the tanks. You're back in spirit. You understand?
I do. Yes.
Simple. And then you can go diving again whenever you wish to have that experience. It's up to you.
So is it possible that you could be like, is there a part, a deeper soul that knows or has chosen to leave, but then the ego part of you is resisting that?
Oh,
Like-
that happens all the time on your planet. Many of you die kicking and screaming.
Okay.
Because again, you've trained the ego part to think of that as an actual annihilation of identity, and it's not. So as long as the ego thinks that when you die you actually cease to exist, it's going to go into survival mode and it's going to panic. And it's going to kick and scream and resist all the way. But the idea is that if it starts to learn, if you start to train the ego to understand that you are a part of me, my identity will always be a part of me, but in the physical ego, I don't need the diving mask right now. I use the diving mask when I go diving. I don't need the diving mask on the boat, but I'll always have you at my side. I will never abandon you, and you will always be there with me. You will always be all right. So, in that, then the ego can relax and can understand that you're not discarding it. It's not going to cease to exist. It has a place within your total consciousness, and it can relax. And then you won't panic and you won't resist the idea of going into spirit.
Amazing.
Which is just another phase of life. In a sense, truly, there is no afterlife. There's just life in different forms, that's all. There is no afterlife. You will always be alive, forever.
Wow.
You're an eternal being. You may change your form, you may change your dimension, you may change your experience, but there is no afterlife. Not really.
Would you say it's possible if you're one still sitting in your own physical body, could you experience to see with physical eyes the physical particles or of that person that's left or that soul
Yes,
that's
yes,
left?
yes.
Okay.
You can train your senses to expand a bit to be able to perceive things that are now at this point invisible to you. And simultaneously, what often happens is that spirit, in a sense, will lower its vibrational frequency to make itself a little bit easier to see
Yeah.
in your sensory range.
Yeah.
But yes, you can train yourself to see more clearly the idea of the higher frequencies, and many people do, and they see spirits around them all the time. We do. We interact with spirits all the time. It's not like they are really gone to us. Our world is populated by them. Really, as we have said, physiologically, we only have about 250 million individuals on our planet physically. But we really actually come and go with billions of individuals non-physically.
Okay.
So we interact with them all the time.
And so as I walk away from this microphone, you're saying that if there's anyone departed from me in this physical life, they're with me now.
Of course they are, especially because you're talking about them.
Yeah.
So their non-physical ears are burning.
That's all I needed to know.
One moment.
Yo.
Is there something special for you about petunias or purple?
Purple's my favorite color, yeah.
All right. Then that's a sign that there is somebody with you right now, because they gave us that information to give to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.